Many of us start meditating by following a guide. We sit back and go along with the journey. But if you're looking to deepen your meditation practice, then it's time to become the conductor of your own experience. And that will require some planning. The foundation of your meditation will be your breath. There are a number of different practices that you can explore, like Ujjayi Pranayama, there's alternate nostril breathing, and variations on breath retention and breath suspension like box breath. But despite the variety, the foundation for all types of breath is long, deep, diaphragmatic breathing. And although there are practices that will involve you taking shallower breaths, when you learn how to breathe long and deep, you are ultimately learning how to breathe with more control. This is the way that we breathe when we're babies because our intercostal muscles, or the muscles in between our ribs, are not fully developed yet. But then as adults, some of us may develop a habit of breathing only through our chest, which results in a shallower breath. And this shallow breathing can exacerbate anxiety symptoms. When we relearn how to breathe with our diaphragm's full range of motion, we are then able to have more control over our nervous system responses, allowing us to calm ourselves down a lot more easily. To breathe long and deep, you're going to expand your belly as you inhale, then draw your navel center in towards your spine on the exhale. To help with this feeling, you can simply place your hand right on top of your stomach. Then you can feel the expansion of your gut as you breathe in. Eventually, with enough training, this type of breath will become natural, even during your day-to-day when you're not meditating. Next, if there is a guided meditation that you do enjoy and you'd like to practice it on your own, sit yourself down and listen through it without actually meditating. And while you do so, take notes. Remember to take notes on posture cues, breathing pace, where's your gaze, mudras, hand postures, what visuals or other senses are important to pay attention to for this experience. And the sequence is very important as well. Take note of what happens at the beginning, what is the meat or the middle of this meditation, and how does it end. And when the time comes for you to try this meditation out on your own, be sure to review your notes beforehand, and don't feel shy about keeping your notes by you in case you need to take a peek. Even if you're not taking another guided meditation and putting those into notes, these are important things to consider about your own meditation, your posture, what breath you want to use, how do you want to begin and end the meditation, what goes on in the middle. These are all things you have to consider when doing the practice yourself. Also, consider your atmosphere. Here you can use music like mantra, those hertz music that's set at a specific hertz or frequency. I know binaural beats are really popular. Drumming tracks are also really great to help you with your focus. Find a track with the same duration as how long you want to meditate, so that when the track ends, you cue and automatically know that your practice is done. So music's really helpful in this way, one, to help you with your focus, and two, to signal you when your practice is done, so you're not really spending all that time thinking, is it over yet? Is it overtime? Have I been sitting here for way too long? And then eventually you're going to build up to start practicing in silence. So when you are practicing in silence, or if you find a track that's longer than you would like to actually meditate, then you would utilize a timer. The timer on your phone works perfectly fine. You can use an egg timer, you can try a sand timer if you're ever so inclined to really challenge your hearing and try to listen for every single grain of sand that falls down. I'm not here to judge. I really like the Insight Timer app because you can add a warm-up time so that you're not wasting time fiddling with the timer before you're actually meditating. You know what I mean? You set the timer and you hit go, but you still have to put the phone down, get into your posture properly, and then by then maybe 10 seconds has passed. With a warm-up, you can add that little bit of buffer time so that you're completely settled before your meditation actually starts. And you can customize the sounds. You can choose gongs, chimes, bells, whatever you like. You can also add interval times if your meditation has different phases, or if you just like an indicator to know when you're at that halfway point. And so while you're building your practice, you will probably have to build your stamina as well. You can simply start with 1 minute. 1 minute of conscious breathing and then build yourself up. Build up to 2, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10, 11, 20, 30, all the way up to an hour. Because hey, for most people, meditating for 1 hour a day is not realistic. It's better to meditate for 5 minutes if that's what fits in your schedule than having trouble to find time to have that 1 hour of meditating in your regular routine. Push for consistency rather than duration. Work with your schedule and your lifestyle so that you can adjust your expectations to be realistic for yourself. And now, before you start meditating, remember your plan. What is the seated posture? Where will you place your hands? How about your eye gaze? What kind of breath are you going to practice? And finally, what are your intentions? Are you simply going to witness and pay attention to your bodily sensations, the thoughts that come to your mind? Are you going to practice not putting a dialogue to these things? Is it a meditation for manifestation, where you have to feel the emotions in your body, the same emotions as if your manifestation is already here? And review, how will you start? What is that middle portion? And how will you end and close off your practice? And you might want to keep your start and your end consistent. For example, you might like to begin with 3 cleansing breaths, inhaling through the nose and then exhaling out the mouth. Doing those 3 times to prepare for your practice, and then closing off by grounding your forehead and your palms down to the ground to help ground the energy back into the earth. Keeping the start and the end consistent will help with building a habit in your mind. And then eventually shifting your mind into that meditative state will become a little bit more effortless each time. Or not, every practice is different. Realistic expectations. Bring all these pieces together, start your music or your timer, and meditate. And when you do all of that and you still find yourself having trouble focusing, next time try to do some stretching or some sort of physical activity before you actually meditate. Ideally, practice yoga before you meditate. This will help by getting rid of that residual fidgety energy because you are exerting yourself. So here, you would have to consider your schedule again. Maybe you can fit your meditation after you go to the gym. Or ensure that you have an extra 5 or 10 minutes to do some light stretching before your practice. And now you should be ready to practice all on your own. But if you still need some sort of body double to practice with, be sure to check out this video where we'll be exploring a breath exercise that will help you strengthen your ability to calm down after a heightened nervous system response.